Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Speaking About Speaking. And as you can see from the screen in front of me, I am here with Ben McKinney. So welcome, Ben.
Oh, hi, Jackie. Thanks so much for having me. Really happy to be here.
Welcome. I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro. This is Ben McKinney, a B2B copywriter, content strategist, and superhero window cleaner, which we will hear a little bit more of. He makes your business look great, just with words, not shiny windows. He uses pugnacious, punchy business writing that shows off your personality and pulls in your ideal clients. And you can probably tell that those are Ben's words, not mine, because they are pugnacious and punchy. And then along with the word man, Dave Harland. So I don't know if people out there know Dave, but him and Ben have founded the Copy or Die copywriting agency, where the words your business uses are a matter of life or death. So that sounds interesting too. You're a creator of hashtag LinkedIn lyrics, which is interesting. And I did have noticed a post you put out yesterday, so we'll come on to that too. And you were once a regional sports reporter, also interesting. But one of the reasons that you are here today is that you have a podcast in the pipeline. So where did that come from, Ben? Because it's not your sphere of expertise yet, is it? So tell us a little bit about the podcast and how that's sort of come about for you.
Yeah, thank you. The podcast is not really a podcast at the moment. So it's a collaboration between me and my freelance pal Mel Barfield, who's another freelance copywriter. Mel and I have known each other online for a couple of years and have worked together for about 18 months on some different projects. One of the things we were talking about for about a year was trying to build up our presence online, not just on LinkedIn, but in different types of things. So appearing on podcasts like this one and looking for opportunities for public speaking. The trouble is, if you don't have much of an online presence, if your personal brand, if you want to call it that, hasn't got to the point sort of development where you think people might be able to find you and book you, there aren't that many opportunities to speak on podcasts unless you're willing to put your hand up and say, I am looking for opportunities to speak on podcasts or opportunities for public speaking. And I think we both felt like that was a little bit ick, that didn't really fit with ourselves. So we looked at a way of, rather, if there wasn't an opportunity there, could we create our own opportunity? So we've been talking about hosting a podcast based on copywriting and running a freelance business and lifestyle. We've been talking about it for about a year. Something that held us back, certainly held me back, was not really sure what technology I'd need, not probably having the time to give to editing and post development, that kind of thing. And also the fact that if we did it, if we put a lot of effort in, that people wouldn't be able to find us, or there wouldn't be anything much in the way of an audience for us to connect to. So rather than jumping straight in with the podcast, Mel and I decided about 6 weeks ago that we would launch a series of LinkedIn Lives. One reason for doing that was to just really test to see whether there was an audience, whether we could connect with anybody. And the other just to give us the experience of presenting, hosting and talking with each other. So we've done 2. We've got another one booked next week. We're recording towards the end of November. I'm not sure the date is today, but we booked in next Wednesday, which I think is the 29th. And yeah, it's gone great so far. We found that there's a little hardcore audience of people that have found us and connected with it straight away. We're working out a way to create themes for each episode. And the nice thing about doing the LinkedIn Live is that you get the feedback immediately from the people that connect with you in the audience. So we're able to present kind of a half-hour chat between me and Mel about the themes that we're talking about, and then we're able to open it up to the room, answer any questions, or get some other get some advice in some senses from the people that are listening to it. So it's been great so far. We hope that we're going to keep developing. We're really just finding our feet at the moment and working out what we want the show to be. But we hope that it develops, and if it keeps going the way we think it will, then perhaps we'll put it into a podcast format in the future.
Yeah, sounds great. Mel is here. Hello to Mel. Hi. And we also got Mark Masters here saying hi both. So Mark is really the reason we are together here on this podcast today, because we're both part of the You Are the Media community, which is a fabulous space for lots of different people doing different things. And talking of doing different things, tell me a little bit about the window cleaning. How is that? You started life, obviously, your business as a window cleaner, and now you are a copywriter. How?
Oh, we have to go back a long way.
Go back a long way. Go for it.
So when I left college, I was convinced that I didn't want to go to university. I knew myself. I think I knew that if I went to uni, I would probably waste 2 or 3 years and come away with a mediocre degree. But I also knew that what I'd wanted to be from as long as I could remember was a sports reporter. So I talked my way into a small local regional publishing company that ran 2 local newspapers in the town that I grew up, and talked myself onto an apprenticeship. And then, they put me through the NCTJ qualification to do sports reporting. So I felt incredibly lucky, sort of at 19, to be doing what I felt like I'd always wanted to do. And I really liked the job. I enjoyed writing. I enjoyed meeting people locally. You'd have to go out to all the different sports clubs. You'd have to cover events and then write about them, obviously. But the hours were so long. I was, by this point, I did it for a couple of years, and I was sort of 21 and working really, really late nights, working weekends, covering different events, and the pay was abysmal. So I just felt a bit stuck. I think I wanted to see my friends, and all my friends were either coming back from uni or going traveling, or had better paid jobs, so had more disposable cash than I did. And I felt a bit stuck, and I wanted to see the world a bit and wanted to do something, kind of normal 21-year-old things. So I packed it in and looked for something I could do that would give me flexibility. And I knew quite a few people that worked for themselves, a couple of people that were builders and, tradesmen, plumbers, that kind of thing. I didn't feel like I had those skills to be a builder or a plumber. But the easiest thing I thought would be to start my own thing was to start a window cleaning business. You didn't need a lot of kit. You just needed a car and a ladder and a few bits and bobs. And then I was quite confident and comfortable going out and canvassing for work and trying to pick up a small round. So I did that. I still lived at home with my mum and dad at this point, so I didn't need a ton of money. And the idea was that I would do that for a couple of months, earn enough cash to go on holiday, go away for sort of 3 or 4 weeks, do a bit of traveling, come back and just repeat the process. And I felt like I'd probably do that for a couple of years and then go back to getting a real job. And 18 years later, I'm still doing it. Where the copywriting came in, my son Baird has just turned 7, and when he was born, I thought I was doing quite a bit of traveling for work, and I was still doing long days. And I thought I'd like to work from home a couple of days a week. So, I've always written. I always wrote for the business. As I built the window cleaning business out, I would write the websites and write my marketing copy. Didn't really know what copy was at the time. I didn't know what a copywriter was, and I didn't know that there were people that could do that kind of thing, that you would pay to do it. So I did it myself. I'd done a couple of little training courses, and it just felt like that was something that I would like to do, work from home, do something creative. So I did a couple more training courses and then started to try and pick up clients. And initially my goal was to just do a couple of days. If I could get 2 days a week where I could work from home with a baby, and that would all be good. And it's just grown. Again, we're kind of 7 years into that point now. Both businesses have grown. I'm still doing both. So I still run and manage the window cleaning business. I'm occasionally out on the tools. I'm out on Thursday this week, so I'm hoping for good weather. And there's been times when one's grown more than the other, and it's been a bit of an imbalance. But at the moment, things are good. So I tend to split the week. I do about 3 days on the copywriting side of things. At the moment, those 3 days are building out Copy or Die with Dave. And then 2 days a week running and managing the window cleaner business. I've got a little team that helps with that too.
Brilliant. So you've gone from window cleaning into copywriting, and now you're kind of going into speaking. And I have to say, I listened to you at Copy Cabana, the tape of you talking for that, and that's quite an interesting story about how that little talk that you gave there came about. And I have to say, you've got such a lovely style about the way that you presented that. It was really sort of entertaining and light-hearted. But tell us how you ended up there.
Yeah, it's a lovely experience. One of the training courses that I picked up on early on in the copywriting, when I was trying to transition over as a copywriter, a famous copywriter called Andy Maslin ran a course in London called The Well-Paid Freelancer. And the trouble I was having at the time, I'd done a couple of courses, so I knew how to write and what kind of clients I wanted, but getting those clients and charging them the right kind of fees was really, really tricky. And at that point, I think I remember thinking to myself, if window cleaning is so much better paid than copywriting, I'm going to have to knock this on the head. I'm just going to have to say to myself, I'm going to be a window cleaner, and I'm okay with that. And I'll write poetry in the evenings or something. Anyway, I found Andy's course, and one of the hooks that Andy uses in that course and in his other writing is that his window cleaner was better paid than a lot of copywriters, and that he felt that copywriters should be as well paid as window cleaners. So immediately we had a little connection. And I managed to get on the course. I missed the deadline. By the time I'd seen it, I'd missed it. But I emailed Andy direct and said to him, look, I'm a window cleaner, but I want to be a well-paid copywriter. Please, can I come on your course? So he let me on, and it was good. I still use a lot of the lessons that I learned on that course when I'm pricing work for my clients now, in both businesses, actually, not just in the copywriting. I use different techniques and things that he covered on that course in the window cleaning as well. And Andy and I got on great, and he was one of the organisers of Copy Cabana, which was a copywriting conference that took place in Bournemouth in 2017. And they had a speaker pull out at the last minute. So he got in touch with me. This was a month or so after the course, and said, look, you've got an interesting story. Would you like to do a 10-minute talk about it? So I had no time to really think about it too much or get nervous, or no time to say no. So I just said yes and went down and took the opportunity, really. And it was great. It was really the kind of, not the sliding doors moment, but saying yes to that opened up a lot of support from people within the industry. It gave me a lot of confidence that I felt like I could now say that I belonged in the industry, that I was a copywriter. So it was good for me as much as anything. Building out the talk and writing that, even though I didn't have a lot of time to write it, was a nice period. I'm not a particularly reflective person, and it was a nice opportunity to kind of look back on how far I'd come in a short space of time, perhaps reevaluate some goals and why I was doing what I was doing. And then speaking about it publicly is quite affirmative. There's a lot of affirmation in that. It was great. So I had a really good time doing that. And that's one of the big reasons why the business has grown on since.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about speaking, isn't it? It's about putting yourself outside of your comfort zone and really kind of, as you say, just saying yes, get up there and do it without thinking about it. But and that's what came across in the 10-minute presentation, that you were speaking from your heart. You were talking about something that you were passionate about. And so that's what I always say to my clients, is that's the easiest thing to do. That's the easiest way to sort of feel comfortable. You're always going to feel nervous.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
if you're talking about something that you feel passionate about, it's easier. Did you find that? And how did you cope with nerves when you were sort of about to step on stage?
Yeah, I was nervous. I think nerves are good, though. I'm not somebody who thinks that nerves are particularly a negative thing. I think they show that you care about something and that you're
absolutely
you're invested in it and you're trying your best. I'm quite confident. I was confident getting up and telling. I was talking about myself, which is it's not a bad thing, is it? So
no.
I felt quite confident getting up and telling that story. It was only 10 minutes. I knew it would go quickly, and I kept it quite simple. I think to go back to mentioning about talking about something that you love and you care about, if you do that, then you can feel that the audience connects with you, because I think if they can see some level of authenticity, and I felt that in the room, it's quite obvious. I mean, the first thing I said when I got up there was, I'm a window cleaner. I'm not really a copywriter, but I want to be one. And I felt that the audience, was supportive in that. It felt like they almost put their arms around me, because I got a lot of nice feedback afterwards, but even during, you can tell if an audience is listening to you and if they're invested in what you're saying. And I really felt that on that day. And that once I was up and running, and once I felt that, then the nerves thankfully disappeared, and I was able to just enjoy it.
And what I loved as well is you started with that, I'm a window cleaner, I'm not a copywriter, but you finished with I'm Ben and I'm a copywriter kind of thing, didn't you? So was that in your presentation, or was that just how you felt?
I think I felt like that. I haven't got the notes still from the day, but I don't think when I'd written it out, I don't think I'd ended it in that way. But it felt, like I say, it almost felt like that little bit of a graduation kind of thing. Like, I've got to this point and here I am talking to you. So I can't really say that I'm not a copywriter anymore, because I'm talking at an industry conference. And like I say, the feedback during that talk, I think I probably only spoke for about 8 minutes, because I sped up a lot as I went through it. But the kind of the connection between the audience and the organisers as well. It's like, I can't say that I'm not now. I'm here, and I'm staying.
No, it was yeah. I felt that. I could feel that probably hadn't been written down, but that's how you felt. It was fabulous. We've got Liam here is agreeing with you here. Look, I agree, Ben. Nerves are what bring the magic on stage. Thank you for being here, Liam.
I think so. I mean, if you get up there without nerves, I don't know. You don't want to be robotic, do you? So if nerves come out, there's that level of almost vulnerability, I think, which is another thing that people connect to. If they see that you're really trying, then it's a good thing. Absolutely.
And as you said, nerves show you care. And if the reason you feel that is because you're invested, and it means something to you. So you will be nervous. And I, people ask me if I can get rid of their nerves. And it's like, no, you have to embrace them. You have to go with them, see them as excitement rather than nerves. But brilliant. If you are out there listening or watching this, then please do pop a question in or a comment into the comments there. If you're watching the replay, it'd be good to hear from you too. So if there's anything in here that you'd like answered, or any comments or questions you'd like to ask, then please do. So tell us a little bit more now about Copy or Die, because that's something that's come about in the when did you say you launched in July? So how did that come about? Because the ethos behind that I think is great, and how that works for copywriters and freelancers is a great idea. So tell us about how that started and your connection with Dave.
Yeah, so the connection with Dave started probably 6 or 7 years ago, quite early on in my freelance career. Dave was probably quite early on in his as well. I think he's been full-time freelancing for about 8 years. We just connected online. There's a couple of sort of copywriting evenings that happen around the UK, and Dave and I met very, very briefly at one in London. But we connected online already, and we just chatted back and forth. We've got a very similar sense of humour. We like the same kind of 90s to early 2000s comedies. And we just gone and built a friendship online really over sort of 4 or 5 years. We're talking about opportunities earlier, and I started a feature on my website about 2 years ago called The Business, where my idea was to interview business owners like me and not really talk about their day-to-day, but to talk about the decisions that they'd made in running their freelance business. So Dave was one of the first guests on that. We chatted for about an hour, and it was great. I got a lovely interview out of it, and we had a really nice chat. One of the things we talked about was Dave's got an enormous LinkedIn presence and a big newsletter list. And we were talking about how he could start to get some passive income or some different revenue streams rather than just him doing the work. And he mentioned during the talk that he probably gets about 20 to 30 leads in a month from his LinkedIn profile. But because he was busy, he was maxed out as a freelancer. He might have used maybe 1 or 2 of them a month, and the rest of them he would give them away, or he would just let them go by the wayside. So I said, well, why don't you sell the leads? I'm sure you could, offer those to somebody. They'd take them, and that would be an additional revenue stream for you. He said, oh, who would buy them? I said, well, I'll buy them. I was looking, I didn't have an awful lot of work coming through on the copywriting side of things at the time. So I said, look, I'll buy them. I'd already started thinking, if I get more work in, I probably won't have the time to do it because the window cleaning business was good. My wife and I just had our second daughter, Aoife. She was probably about 6 months old at the time. So I was looking for a way of working slightly less hours. So I'd started building out and creating some relationships with other freelancers that if a copywriting contract did come in, I would outsource the writing. I would take care of the strategy and the brief and all the planning, client delivery, all that side of things, but I would outsource the writing. And so I said, look, I've got this little process in place. If you send me a lead, if I convert it, I'll pay a commission, and then I'll outsource it and my team will do it. So we tried this for about 6 to 8 months, and it worked really well. Worked really well for both of us. We both earned some money off it. I got some lovely contracts with great clients, and I started working with some really lovely freelancers as well. That was almost an unexpected side effect of the good relationships that I'd created on that side of things. So after doing it for about 8 months, Dave and I met in the middle for a little celebration. This was October last year. So Dave's from Liverpool. I live in Norwich. So we'd just been talking on Zoom the whole time. We decided to meet up and have a pint. So we met in the middle in Stamford, Lincolnshire, and found a really nice hotel and just had a beer and chatted. And I think we'd both been thinking, without saying to the other one, this could be something bigger. We could build this out and make something exciting, and also perhaps, something that works. So we think we've got a good idea. And that was the first time we started talking about copy or die. So the name came out really quickly. We want to focus purely on personality-led copy for clients that understand the value of good copy in their business, and understand that really, when it comes to your marketing budget and the success of your business, that really great copywriting is a matter of life or business death. So that was our viewpoint from the start. And yeah, it's taken a long time. It's taken a year. We've kind of been talking about it and fine-tuning it for a year, but we launched in July. Today's email list. So we've got a waiting list of clients kind of that we're just servicing and going through now. And then hopefully we'll be properly public facing with a live website and all the bells and whistles that comes with in the early new year. So it's been a great experience starting the business, and we're in a nice position because Dave's already got a presence, which is, again, that's another one of the reasons for me trying to get public speaking opportunities and trying to get appearances on podcasts, and just to build out, almost to even up the kind of social media presence. It's given us the opportunity to kind of start the business, but without almost revealing what we are. We can start it with the people on the wait list, and then we're fine tuning the offering as we go, as we get a lot of different experiences with different clients. So yeah, we're in a really nice position at the moment.
Yeah. So just quickly, Mark's asked a question, which I will ask you in a second, but just let us know, what is the offer then for the copywriters that you'll be working with?
So with freelancers, so we're not looking at hiring a team at the moment of kind of in-house copywriters, you might call it. We think that because we're in such different parts of the country, one of the strengths of the agency is that we can use the freelance network that we're both a part of. We know all the best copywriters in the UK, certainly all the best freelance ones. And the thing that gives us the opportunity to do is, when a contract comes in, we compare what we think the right writer is for the right client. So rather than us thinking, this isn't really, as a freelancer, you might get a contract come in and you think, it's just not my niche, or it's not my industry, I don't know anything about this. The way we can do it, we can pick into our pool of writers, find the one who fits the client best. We'll still take care of all of the initial part. So setting the strategy with the client, getting a really top quality brief. And then on the other end, we'll deal with delivery and payment and all that sort of thing. So the copywriter really only has to do one thing, which is the bit that they like the most, which is to get a good brief and to do the writing. So the way we've done it so far, we're a few contracts in, and we're a year in terms of me putting out that process, and it works really well. Everybody seems to be happy. The writers are happy, we're happy, and the most important thing is the client's happy too. The work that's coming out is great. So yeah, we're really excited.
Excellent. No, it's a great offer. Mark is asking, what frustrates you with copy in a chat GPT world, which I'm sure you get asked quite often these days.
Yeah, chat GPT. What frustrates me? I think the frustrating thing for people in our position is the way that potential clients see copy, whether they value it or don't. So it makes our life, in some senses, it makes our life easier, because what we know we have to do now is find the clients that really value high quality copywriting and good quality marketing. That isn't everybody, and that's fine. There is a place for chat GPT. Dave won't like me for saying that because he's fully against it. But some businesses will use it and will have success. We don't want to work with those businesses. We want to work with people that really value the kind of the magic that comes from having a quality copywriter in your business. So I think what frustrates me, that's one thing. And I think the second thing is the effect it's had on the freelancers in the industry, because I think a lot of freelancers see clients moving over to chat GPT and feel a bit despondent. Whereas ideally what I'd advise freelancers to do is, if that's the case, is really to tighten up your own offering and try and find clients that value what you do. Because if you do that, then you'll have better projects, better clients, and better earnings at the end of the day. So yeah, it's a difficult one because it's everywhere and it's not going to go anywhere. It's here to stay. Yeah. As in terms of people in marketing, it's up to us to find a way around it or a route over it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and I think it goes back to the thing earlier of nerves. You can't get rid of it. It's here now. there's always going to be, this is not going away now. So it's about embracing it, isn't it? It's about really sort of taking it on, but finding the human side of what you do and what we all do. So I think
embracing it's an interesting way of putting it. I think we're more in the category of taking it on, as in taking it head on. We want to set ourselves up as the polar opposite to AI, created copy or AI created marketing. And I think there will always be clients that cherish, the human to human connection that good quality writing can give you, and the way that good quality writing can capture emotions in humans. I don't think, certainly not at the moment, AI can't do that. It can do some things, in a limited capacity, but it can't recreate that human to human connection. So that's, for us, that's where the opportunity lies. Yeah. It's creating that in a much better way and in a bigger way, and finding people that value it too.
Yeah. And it's the same with speaking. It's the same, I had this conversation with Mark when he was a guest on this, on one of the episodes, about the fact that obviously you can't replicate the human to human contact when you're on a stage, when you're speaking. So it's a similar thing. So where are you going now with your public speaking, to bring it back to speaking? What would you like to do apart from guesting on the podcast? Have you got ambitions to speak more?
Yes, definitely. That is a goal for 2024, to find more public speaking appearances. I'm booked in at Creator Day next year. So Dave and I are speaking at Creator Day, which is a lovely place to be and a lovely thing to start the year with. That's in April. So I'd encourage anybody who's on the fence about booking for that to come along, because I think we're going to have a lovely day. And the goal, if we can find more public speaking appearances for me, then that'll be great. But I suppose as much as anything, another goal is to just continue building out that podcast with Mel. Keep doing the LinkedIn lives for the end of this year, and then in the new year we're going to evaluate where we take it and see what comes from that. So I'm as excited about that as anything else, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So in your opinion, what makes a good podcast? What is, or in the words of what I normally frame it, what makes a good podcast good and a bad podcast suck?
What makes a good podcast good? In a podcast like this, where it's a one-to-one interview, I think it's the interviewer asking the subject the questions that, as a listener, you'd like to know the answer to. And I think, so Mel and I, our show is a bit more of it's almost like a radio style format, I suppose, in that we have a chat, a conversation, then we bring in kind of outside people to chip in towards the end. I think in something like that, it's us trying to work out the questions that our audience are facing and the pain points that they've got, and then trying to answer those on the show. What makes it suck, I suppose, is we talked a bit before, didn't we? If we think that things aren't authentic, that comes across as an audience member. If you know that the person speaking is not invested in the same way you are, that's an immediate turn off. So I think the personality and the passion of the person that's doing the, presenting or the interviewee or whatever, that's what makes good podcasts good, and that's what makes bad ones suck.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Just quickly before we end here, we've got Liam saying, "Good on you both. I'd be suspicious of clients that want the copy so desperately quickly that they'd prefer to use ChatGPT."
Spot on, Liam.
Yeah, fabulous. Thank you, Liam. So where is best? I've got your website here. Let me find it. I'll bring it up onto the screen. There we go. This is your website. So any copywriting that anyone wants done from you, they can contact you there. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm probably phasing that out over the next year or so, but it's still live at the moment. Our website for Copy or Die is copyorDie.co.uk. There's not really anything on there at the moment. We've got a holding page up for the homepage. But if you're a freelance writer and you think that you'd quite like to work with us on some projects, then the one page that is live on the website is copyorDie.co.uk/writers. And there's a little form on there that you can fill in to give us your information.
Brilliant. And I'll if you send me over that link, Ben, I'll put that in the copy below. And there we go. That's you on LinkedIn, if anybody wants to get in contact with you or find out more about that.
Yeah, smashing. I'm not on there very much, but that's another thing to try and become a bit more present on.
Yes, that's brilliant. Okay, let's see. We got one more comment. Mark says, "Enjoyed it." Thank you very much, Mark.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
Yeah. Great. And thank you so much for being here, Ben. And thank you for jumping in last minute, because it was very last minute. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks ever so much for having me. I've really enjoyed chatting to you, Jackie.
Yeah, and really good luck to you and Mel with the podcast. And if you need any advice, whatever advice, I'm happy to give. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that up and running.
Brilliant.
And if you need any guests, not that I'm a copywriter, but yeah, I'm always happy to chat. So good luck with that, and thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks again.
You're welcome. And if anybody needs to get in contact with me, I'm at powertospeak.co.uk. And thank you so much for watching, listening. If you're watching the replay, then do, as I said earlier, ask questions, make some comments. We'd love to hear from you, and obviously subscribe to the channel. That would be fantastic. Thank you so much. Next week I have Ben Albert from Rochester, New York, which I'm really looking forward to. Fabulous marketing man. And the week after I have Gillian Whitney, who is also in the States. So really looking forward to those. So I will see you all next week. And once again, thank you so much for being here, Ben.
Thanks, Jackie. Bye.
Bye-bye.